So if you're like me, you got an old Peterbilt, could be anywhere from 87 to 2000, maybe even 04, the same style fuse panel, and you got a problem. Your fuses are wiggly and they fall out, or you've got intermittent problems with gauges and switch power stuff working, and your fuse panel's corroded. Today I'm going to show you how I fixed the fuse panel in my 87 and the steps that I took and the parts that I used. Something I searched on a lot when I got this truck. I had some serious problems with the fuse panel, wiring not working. I turned the key on, power be off and on, and if you know anything about one of these older Peterbilts, the fuse panels are very problematic. It's because these trucks, there's a window seam. A lot of times when these windows get replaced, okay, never mind this mess here, gotta fix that. When these windows get replaced, these seams, these gaskets are not reinstalled with, I'm trying to remember, it's butyl tape. I'm not a window guy, but there's a sealant or whatever that helps keep it. And a lot of times they don't get put in there, so they leak through this seam and it trickles down right to the fuse panel in these trucks. And that makes the fuse panels rot out. Well, today I started working on the fuse panel, so I took off the air cleaner to get access because it's all the way up in here. And this is the rubber boot that connects the air cleaner through the cab. Took that out, and I thought I was gonna have to be working in here in that tight corner to get to the fuse panel, but instead, fuse panel I can just hang on the outside and I can get to all the terminals with that boot out. It's gonna be a pain to get it back in, but it's gonna make this process a lot easier. So this right here is the battery power bus bar for the fuse panel, and try to get the camera to focus up close, but these terminal ends are hammered, rotted out, bent, in pretty bad shape. Here we have the new TRP1 we're going to be putting in. So I've got two of these, one for each side. Because on the other side, this is the key power one and battery power. So I'm going to start with doing this main bus bar, figure out how far up I'm going to reattach this wire, and we'll go from there. Here you can see a side by side of the old terminal bus bar and the new one. So you just take this thing and just snap it back in there. At the same time, but just like that. And then they use these little covers slip on. It's just like a split tube. Can't do this one-handed, but that one in there. So I've got the battery one in there. This is the key one. We'll finish soldering them together, and then we'll move on to replacing the ends on these guys. So if you can see, those are the new ones on the right compared to the old ones. Same thing. Oh, that one's not at the bus bar. But yeah, see new ones on the left, the old ones. You can see what difference that is on those. Alright, we're finished replacing all terminal ends in this fuse panel. I'll tell you what, when I pop these new fuses in here, they're nice and snug. So far I just put the fuses in for the key power, that's what the accessory switch is, and the panel light. Okay, get the fuse panel put back in the truck. So all I do is put back through the hole and screw it back in. But I start popping fuses in, turn signals work again. Stuff here on the floor. I got panel lights working, power to the radio. So some of my gauges work. I don't have power going to my oil temperature or my voltmeter, so I'm gonna have to check that out. But now I know I got power going to my panel to everything. So from there, we can start trickled down diagnosing a few of the things that don't work, but so far my ignition key power works. That was a big one. When I first got the truck, I would turn the key on and half my ignition power would not work. So that's a good plus. I replaced the breaker for that. Key power on, got panel lights, my wipers, motor works, blower fan works, some of my gauges work, voltmeter and oil temp doesn't work, fix that later. But so far, rebuilding my fuse panel has fixed 90% of my problems with my electrical in this truck, in this 87. And from what I know, that is a problem all the way up to like 2000, 2004 in these Peterbilts. So, happily fixed. Very happy with this. But here we go, rebuilt fuse panel, mounted back in here. So, pull this out. Bear with me, got a train going on here. If you have to do your fuse panel in your 379 or any Peterbilt with a style of cab, probably from 87 to 04, I would say, I would take this guy out. It's not going to be fun to put back in, but it goes right through here, and you just have these little seams right here. It's where it fits in the cab, so you kind of have to just press it, and it comes out. But since I was able to pull that out, you can see my fuse panels right here, and I had showed my later video, I had it sitting right here. Made it much easier. So, and as you can tell, you take one of these nice new fuses here and you just stick it in, and it's nice and firm in there. All new terminals. I don't think I had this guy in here. So that is nice. These fuses are in here like a brand new setup. No more wiggly fuses. All these circuit breakers are all brand new. So hopefully this fixes a lot of my electrical problems. So far it's been an improvement. So I'm hoping this is a big improvement on my 87 Pete here. So this is how I repaired my fuse panel, and I hope this can help you out too, because when I searched online, the only thing I found was someone talking about they were sticking a screwdriver in there to tighten those little prongs up. Well, mine were also loose and completely corroded, so that wasn't going to help me. So ultimate fix, all new pieces from Peterbilt. You can do it. Here's the TRP numbers. I got a truck running around in the background because noise. This is the bus bar, the one I showed you. This one has 11 terminals on it for your supply, for your battery or key power. And then there's two different sizes for your load terminals. This is the bigger one of the two. I can't remember the gauges. I'd have to look at the parts. This conversation I had with my Peterbilt salesman, and we figured out how many I was going to need of each. And so I don't remember which gauge was which. This was the bigger one of the two. But these are the part numbers through Peterbilt that I used. Oh, in case you were wondering, I haven't looked at the bill yet, but I'm estimating all of those electrical parts probably about 400 bucks. The breakers were about 25 bucks a piece. Each one of those bus bars was 100, and I think each one of the single terminal ends was about 4 or 5 bucks a piece. So it's not cheap, but it's still cheaper than buying a used fuse panel. And you know, by the time you're done, you have all new solid connections for your main power supply in your truck. Pretty important, right?